On this week's show, Chisom interviews New York Times bestselling author and educator Rosalind Wiseman. We have student and faculty reflections on Community Day, a report from the squash courts, and we're guided through the anatomy of a Winterfest scene. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins right now. From the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is L10 with Ghael, Fobes. Hello and welcome to the show. On February 6th, the boys and girls indoor track and field team won the state championship. Head coach Eric Chapman said, quote, "The state championship on the boys' side was a true team effort. We were led by senior Mike Bauman, who ran an incredible race to win the 400 meter. Mike is one of the top 400 meter runners in the state. Mike also anchored the 4x400 relay team to victory in a very exciting race. Congratulations to fifth formers Neil Ajarapu, Connor Dewan, Sophie Garrett, Matt Katz, and Richard Wang for being named National Merit Scholarship Finalists. The 5 seniors were selected for their impressive high school academic records and will now receive scholarships that will contribute to their respective college tuitions." On Tuesday night, 4 formers attended a poetry reading by Brenda Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy's most recent work, Our Andromeda, has been selected by the Library Journal as the Book of the Year. All 4 formers study advanced poetry in the winter term. Students participated in the annual Trash and Show. As a part of this year's celebration of Sustainuary, a month-long environmental initiative, a few members from each house dressed up in outfits made up from all recycled materials and competed in a pageant during school meeting.
In third place, we have Dickinson House. Taking home the silver, we have McClellan House.
And in first place, we have Stanley House.
This Friday, the Clark Music Center will host the annual Winterfest Broadway Cabaret. The event will feature a select group of students singing traditional Broadway songs. All proceeds will go to the Performing Arts Camp. On Monday, students and faculty participated in the second annual Community Day. Planned and organized by the Diversity Council and Tran Kim Sr., the coordinator of intercultural programs, the day involved morning and afternoon discussions and workshops. The event kicked off with a keynote address from Rosalind Wiseman, an educator and author of Queen Bees and Wannabes, the basis for the 2004 movie Mean Girls. Wiseman is known for her intellect surrounding teen relationships and development. Our senior news correspondent, Chisom Ilogu, had an opportunity to interview her in the Kirby Arts Center.
And so recently in a lot of publications on campus, there's been this huge debate about political correctness and also the idea of safe spaces. So how do you view this, this idea of political correctness juxtaposed with the concept of free speech?
Sure. Well, I mean, people can say what they want to say for the most part. I think the thing I think is so annoying about the PC argument is that you actually don't ever get to the content of the conversation because you're fussing at each other about, like, you're being PC, you're being anti-PC, and then people take positions and they feel accused of something and then they shut down. So more, I think, to the point of PC, anytime we get to this, like, accusations of PC and anti-PC, I think you're losing the point of the argument. I think that really it's, so what matters here and why are we motivated? What is motivating you? You know, what does it mean to you to have this argument? Why does that mean something to you? Why do you want the right to be able to say what you want to say if you are being told that what you're doing is offensive to other people? I want to know the answer to that question. I don't want to, like, why are you saying that? I want to know, like, why? Why is it important to you? I want to know the answer to that. I also think it's important for people to be able to make mistakes. I mean, I've worked in the gaming a little bit. I've presented at the gaming conference a couple times, and in both of the game developer conferences presentations I've done, there's been a Q&A, and somebody has said something sort of not PC at the end of it, and then everybody in the audience sort of goes, "Oh my God," right, and freaks out. So what? People say things that are obnoxious. It's okay. You need to know where they're coming from, or that you vehemently disagree with. That's okay. Like, let's figure out where this is coming from and get to a place where you can talk to each other. What I think is really difficult is when you've got somebody who's just absolutely relentlessly wants to shut you up. And that is a problem. And that's when the collective group has to say, that is not okay.
Thank you, Chisom. Community Day involved a lot of meaningful dialogue and thought-provoking presentations. We asked a handful of students and a faculty member for their reflections.
I thought this year it was really well done. I really enjoyed the speaker because everyone has so many different ideas and views on whether she was right about what she was talking about, what it meant to them, what she was saying, and even I was able to take things out of it that I'd never really thought about before, considering my own femininity and how I relate to other people, and apologizing especially. That was a really interesting part that she talked about. in my English group was really amazing. I never realized that they cared so much, that a lot of kids in my class, really were so interested in helping each other and attempting to recognize other people's differences from them.
I think that it's not so black and white that it helps or hinders. I think that to a point labels do help. I think that labels should be self-identified, and I think they help to find a common ground with other people who have had similar experiences. But I think other than that, they don't help too much.
This is something that I've considered a lot in the past few years, and I think that I've come to the conclusion that labels don't really help anything. Personally, I've been working very hard to dispel preconceived notions or labels that you can place on people by just looking at them, because this is cliche, but there's more to that than the eye can see. So I think that it's best for people to look at others as individuals, get to know people through experiences and not through your perspective of what they'll be like.
So many things, I think, but to me, the single most important thing that we should take away from dialogue is a constantly expanding awareness of the complexity of the world that we inhabit. It is almost always, at least in social terms, more complicated than we tend to remember on a daily basis as we go about doing our own things. And the other thing that we should take away is, I hope, an expanding capacity for dialogue, for engaging in interchange with other people that really helps us to change our minds, to complicate our understandings of ourselves and the people with whom we interact. And in a way, I hope what we take from that is increasing inclination to be humble and careful and curious, and to engage people with a tremendous generosity of spirit.
Thank you, Mr. Kooistra, Patrick, Emma, and Inayah. And now we have a report from the squash courts brought to you by Toby Ilogu.
Thanks, Ghael. I'm here at the Siemens Lawson Johnston's squash courts. Try saying that 5 times fast. And I'm here just to kind of figure some things out about squash. Mr. Price, I feel as though there's a shroud of mystery around the sport of squash itself. Can you explain squash in some relative terms?
Well, it's growing very fast, but most Americans would know racquetball. It's kind of similar. Obviously, you got a racket and a ball. The courts are a little different. The rackets are a little longer and the ball's a little smaller and it doesn't bounce as much.
I'm here with the squash captains this year, Brandon, Virginia, and Sophie. So how did you guys get into squash?
Well, my dad used to play with friends after work just for fun, and he took me one day with him, and since then I just didn't stop. I liked it a lot, and I was kind of good, so I just kept going from there.
How about you, Virginia?
It was like an activity at my day camp when I was probably like 8. So I started doing it then, and I ended up really liking it. So I started playing with my sisters and my dad, and then I kind of got into it from there.
Do your experiences differ, Sophie?
I didn't really get into it that much until I got here, and after my freshman year I started training really hard and managed to make the varsity team, and since then it's just been a lot of training and having fun with these guys.
The girls team is playing in the Maple Tournament this weekend on Saturday. Come out and support them. Back to you, Ghael.
Thank you, Toby. Periwig just concluded 2 jam-packed weekends of Winterfest. With 18 plays spanning 4 different nights, we bring you a unique look inside one of the performances. Cindy Jin and Anna Witherspoon, directors of the play Nothing in Common by Jennifer Fell Hayes, will guide you through the anatomy of a couple scenes of their play.
The play that we directed is about Jean, a middle-aged woman played by Amelia Tedemedi, and she is looking to adopt because she can't have children on her own.
And her counterpart is Carol, played by Audrey Amaro, who's 16 and having a baby whom she can't keep, so she's looking to give him away to Jean. So in this scene, we used a lot of, actually throughout the show, we used a lot of spotlights, which was a lot of work for the stage manager and for the lighting team, but it created the effect we were going for, which was sort of isolating, and it allowed the actors to focus on really addressing the audience because they had these sort of short speeches that they were going through at these points. There's a lot of talking in this show.
So right over here, we're going through a scene transition, and this is when Jean actually comes to meet Carol for the first time, and you can see that Carol is actually trying to fix her couch right over there. It's pretty makeshift couch right over there.
Yeah, we picked this wicker couch out from Prop Hell and put this really ugly sheet and these pillows over it because Carol's not all that well off, and we sort of wanted to reflect that in her possession. And then here you can see her belly, which was actually Audrey's idea. She took this pillow and she put Spanx over it, and it looks pretty convincing.
So Winterfest is actually pretty important to us because for me, at least, I took theater here as a freshman and I was able to incorporate all the things that I've learned in class.
I actually haven't been involved with directing or acting before, so this was a great creative outlet for me, and I'm really grateful. Both Cindy and I are very grateful for being able to be in this year's Winterfest, and we both hope we'll continue to work with the theater department and bring you guys more great shows.
As always, from all of us here at L10, thank you so much for watching. Good luck on your finals and have a restful spring break. Good night.